Mmm. I want to eat this authentic Mexican taco, but the Milk Advisory Board doesn't want me eating the queso. The California Department of Food and Agriculture wants to make sure these tomatitos are safe, and the American Diabetes Association doesn't want me eating the lard and the frijolitos. I'm going to eat it anyway. Mmm.
Mr. Franco.
Uh-huh. Who's that?
Put the taco down and no one gets hurt.
Who are you?
The food police.
You must have smelled the homemade tortillas. We'll be discussing the battle between the state government and your Latino taste buds on the next Cafe California. Come on in after me, I don't care. I'm going to eat the evidence anyway. Por fin desayuné. Welcome to Café California. I'm your well-fed host, Cris Franco, y soy muy franco. This morning, we'll be discussing nutrition and the traditional Latino-Mexican diet. And to chew over this topic, we've assembled this fine panel of Epicurean experts, the first of whom is Lalo Guerrero. Hooray! The singer, composer, and songwriter known to the world as the father of Chicano music. Lalo was presented with the National Medal of the Arts by President Clinton, and then you went to Paris, where you complained that you went with a whole week without Mexican food, Lalo. What was that like?
Oh, no. I found 3 Mexican restaurants in Paris.
3 whole Mexican restaurants?
One very good one called the Ay Caramba.
Ay Caramba.
Muy buenas margaritas.
I want to tell you, the first time I heard your music was when I was 19. I was in Zoot Suit, and I've been loving your music ever since. Thanks for being here, Lalo.
Muchas gracias.
We also have
Thank
Carlos
you.
Brown, who is a costume designer for many telenovelas and such wonderful films as A Walk in the Clouds and Like Water for Chocolate, for whom you received an Ariel Award, right?
Yes.
And that's like the Academy Award in Mexico. So he also teaches fashion, wardrobe, and makeup. And yes, that's your real name, right, Carlos Brown?
Yeah, that's my real name.
Well, we're really happy to have you here, Carlos.
Thank you
We have
very much.
Marta Herrera. She is a registered nurse with Adventist Health Medical Foundation at White Memorial Medical Center in East LA. She helps to coordinate educational and outreach programs for the Latino community as a representative for the American Diabetes Association. And just so you know, Marta, I just had my sugar checked, and I'm A-OK. I should at least make it through the show.
Good for you.
Thank you. We have Cesar Cantu, who is president of the Mexican-American Chamber of Commerce and Industry. A community activist for many years, he believes it's time to get the word out that Mexican food products are world-class, healthy, and tasty. Isn't that right, senor?
Absolutely, Chris, and thank you so much for the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
It's wonderful to have you. Here's our topic. The American middle class is going gaga for alta cocina. Its cravings creating a quandary for some American bureaucracies. Are the Milk Advisory Board and State's Department of Food and Agriculture really keeping an eye out for uninspected, perhaps unhealthy foods from crossing the border? Or are they bouncers protecting threatened American growers? We'll also be discussing the fact that there's a rise in obesity and diabetes, and how healthy is an authentic Mexican diet. What do we do when our taste buds say yes and our swimsuits and doctors say no? Thank you so much for being here. I wanted to let you know I received in my information that Edward James Olmos, Eddie, is doing a number of public service announcements saying to not buy the cheese and to be careful for food vendors. Now, when Edward James Olmos speaks, people listen. Mr. Cantu, how safe are the products entering the United States from Mexico, señor?
Los productos hechos en México tienen la calidad superior y cuando menos comparable con los productos que se fabrican aquí en Estados Unidos. Además, quiero explicar que muchos productos mexicanos se están fabricando aquí mismo en la ciudad de Los Ángeles o alrededor de la ciudad. Incluso el queso mexicano, el queso suave, el queso que llama mucho la atención. Su consumo ha crecido tanto que si consideramos que la cantidad que se consumía en 1985, en la actualidad se consume 5 veces más esa cantidad.
Increíble. I wanted to ask you, Ms. Herrera, you deal with health issues, and Latinos, we have a very high rate of diabetes. How much does our diet play into that? The authentic everything tasted so good in Mexico.
Of course.
You know, it.
Lots of lard.
Lots of lard. Oh, blame it on the lard.
The food, our diet absolutely takes a lot of, place a lot in our Latino culture, and of course in the prevalence of diabetes. Diabetes, the one that is the type 2 diabetes, the one we really have to worry about is...
I think my statistics are like 20%, 30% of... I know everyone in my family is prone to diabetes.
Mm-hmm. Twice as much as non-white Hispanics, absolutely, so it's running quite high.
And Lalo, you're here for a very specific reason. You are here representing the California Department of Food and Agriculture's Don't Pack a Pest.
Correct, yes.
Now, in my family trips, we always packed pests, which were, of course, us. What are you talking about when you say don't pack a pest?
Well, the message is for all our Latin hermanos Latinos when we go visit our native countries to visit our relatives.
So down at Tijuana.
All the way to Mexico City.
All the way to Mexico.
Puerto Rico, donde sea. Centro Sudamerica. When we return, to be sure to declare everything we're bringing back as far as the vegetables.
You're talking about med flies when you're talking about pests?
Pests, that come from different
Then
areas.
let's, that is, I believe, the reason that Mexican food is perceived as dangerous. We had the problem with some hepatitis B, which was transported in some strawberries, Senor Cantu, but you said that there's a nuance there that wasn't reported, about that maybe it wasn't contaminated in Mexico.
This is something that we had to be very careful. When accusations were made, they can never prove that the strawberries were contaminated in Mexico. And that's very strange because this strawberry was distributed in many parts of the nation, and only in certain regions of the United States people became sick. The individual that shipped these products actually was taken into account because he was prohibited from selling Mexican strawberries for schools.
And in the Jalisco cheese, what happened there?
Well, this is a very interesting thing, and indicates many things. For instance, in 1985, the Jalisco plant was one of the largest plants in California, and they were manufacturing Mexican cheese. However, by a mistake or an error, they mix milk or leche that wasn't treated. In other words...
And it wasn't pasteurized.
It wasn't pasteurized, exactly. And that small amount of milk contaminated the rest. And as you know, in a big factory, they mix large amounts of milk. And
so it all got mixed up together.
Yes, and consequently, 39 people died, and everybody felt.
It took years for that market to regain its footing,
it's coming with a strong force that is unbelievable.
It's big. A lot of Mexican companies now, food companies, I think have grown like 15, 20% in
More
one
than
year.
that.
I wanted to ask Carlos, you were telling us, Carlos, that you work in entertainment industry, and you say that the marketing of this message to Latinos is different from the American market.
Yes,
tell us a little about that.
The approach to the campaign, especially in milk, is different. We normally...
Here it's got milk.
Yeah, and for the Hispanic market is craving the flavors that we used to taste as kids, what grandma used to cook, what mother used to cook, and how we exchange recipes and we inherit those recipes.
So what I wanted to know is, why is it that we can't get those same flavors that are in Mexico here? It's got to come just from Mexico. Is it the climate? Is it the... You said it was love. And then Martha said it was the lard.
The lard.
You think it's the lard?
Yes, most of the time it's the lard, the flavor. Those frijoles.
It's the love and the lard.
Well, the thing that the Department of Food and Agriculture is concerned with it's the preparation and how they conserve the cheese, particularly. There's nothing wrong with it. If you keep it well refrigerated and prepared properly.
But she's discussing something else. You're talking about fat content.
The fat content, and that's what actually we have to worry about with diabetes. And the fat content in foods has you gain weight, and you gain weight, then you're at higher risk of developing diabetes.
I haven't gained an ounce in 2 minutes now.
And that's the more important thing that we need to worry about is the fat content of foods.
Yeah, we're going to come back and we're going to discuss nutrition, the Latino diet. Don't leave us. Lalo, will you play us off here? You listen to the lovely guitar work here of Lalo Guerrero. What are you going to sing?
Hay mosca mediterránea, caribeña y mexicana, no hay que dejarlas entrar, no le hace que sean paisanas. Hay que cuidar las fronteras,
Pues sí.
por aire, tierra y por mar. Esta bella California la tenemos que cuidar.
Bravo.